Hi, some people have been asking a little bit about this particular assignment, sample TPA evaluation and reflection. You're doing it for week 2 based on the sample TPA that you read, and you wrote a summary about its strengths and weaknesses. So you did case study 1 and 2 for week 1 and case study 3 and 4 for week 2. And then you're going to use the same sample TPA for this assignment for week 2. In week 3, you're going to use the same worksheet for your own TPA. So the goal is for you to evaluate and reflect upon the TPA that you read and then on your own TPA for next week. So as I click into it and open up the assignment, it's right here where it says sample evaluation and reflection. So here you're going to read through these directions, but I'm going to skip over them because I'm going to tell you what you need to know. So it says here that you use this worksheet to evaluate and reflect on your TPA. In this case, it's the sample TPA that you read. Next week, it's your own TPA. Okay, so here's the chart. You notice how some of these are repeated because these are very, very important to the TPA that you include these things. For instance, you can agree that engaging and supporting students in learning is extremely important, and by supporting this TPE, Teacher Performance Expectations, you should get a better grade on your TPA. So here you would list evidence of things that the sample TPA did to engage and support students. So they gave you an example. It says they use graphic organizers. Did the sample TPA that you wrote or read for week 1 and week 2, did it have graphic organizers? If it did, you can leave that evidence there. And here it says relevant solution for developmental needs of the students. They're saying that that's a good idea for where the students are, that would be included in the lesson plan. So you're just looking for little pieces of evidence, and then you're going to use the scoring language to say what is good or bad about that. Let's say that they decided to play a Jeopardy game, and you liked what they were doing there, and you thought it was an excellent review. Then here you would write a little bit about the game. It only needs to be a phrase, not even a whole sentence, about that game. And over here you would say, using the scoring language, why that was good or why that was bad. So if you don't know where the scoring language is, it's right down here, scoring language. If it's going to score a lower score, you're going to use words like this in the description. If it's going to score a higher score, you're going to use words like this. So if the game was appropriate for the age level, or it was detailed, or it was purposely connected to what they have to do, then these are some of the words that you'll want to use in the column on the right here, where it talks about why that's good or bad. So if the game was accurate or relevant or convincing or whatever it is, you want to use some of those words down below to say what a wonderful thing it is. If you find something in the sample TPA or in your own TPA that's a little minimal, it's a little weak, that needs more detail, then you would say what that was, and then you would come over here and choose a couple of these words to describe it. Ultimately, after you finish filling out this chart, if you look down the side on the scoring language, you look for what consistently keeps coming up. You keep getting accurate, you keep getting detailed, you keep getting relevant, and then you say to yourself, oh, well, this is a pretty good TPA. And down here, the words that are repeated the most you'd use. So relevant, accurate, detailed. You would say that exists, that evidence is there. And then you would have scored it. If it's going to have those words in it, it's going to have to score up here as a 3 or a 4, depending on what you thought it was, on your sample TPA and then eventually on your own work. So the words that you use on the far right-hand column determine what score you will give it here. Okay, then there's a final piece here that's reflection, where you'd answer some of these questions regarding these TPEs. Did these things happen? And this is meant to be brief. So that means that for some of you that would be less than a paragraph. For some of you it would be about a paragraph, but it would rarely be more than that for each of these. So you just want to pick a question or two and make it apply to these areas, these TPEs. Okay, so I hope this helped you a little bit. I know this is probably kind of confusing because you haven't been trained to grade a TPA, and the people that put this assignment in, which I wasn't allowed to change, are scorers and evaluators, so it all makes sense to them. But now you'll see what it is they're going to do with your TPA, and that's why it's important that you try this assignment on your own TPA as well next week, so you can see what it was they would say about your TPA.